Teodora is an Italian media specialist and activist currently based in Bari, Italy. In 2017, she received her MFA in Integrated Media Arts at Hunter College, New York. She works as a documentary producer and filmmaker, English translator for the Italian screen, and educator for New York City-based universities and professional schools. She is an active member of Bread and Roses Spazio di Mutuo Soccorso, a space where there are fostered projects of self-management and practices of mutual aid. Welcome to you. You know, I practiced that yesterday, the Italian, and I had to Google the pronunciation, but tell us what's going on. Thank you.
Going on. Sadly, it's going on what's happening mostly anywhere else in the world. Is the audio fine?
Can you guys hear Tio now?
I'm gonna talk a little bit.
Okay, it's good now. Sorry.
All right. So yes, it's for me today is my 18th day of quarantine, staying home here, and approximately I decided to stay in my house right after it was kind of mandatory. So when we started having all the self-certification papers, we are, I think now, as of 2 days ago, at our 5th self-certification for being outside. So I'm staying home, and I'm trying to stay healthy, whatever everybody's trying to do in this moment.
Can you tell us about what that means? The certification that you mentioned?
Sorry?
Can you tell us what that means? I think you said certification or something, permission.
Yes. So I pull up also some data that I'm going to read to give you a sense of numbers of what's going on. But basically, since the very beginning, almost right after the state of emergency, the government decided that we could not circulate in the streets without a valid reason. And by valid reason, it's intended grocery shopping, pharmacy, going to the pharmacy or assisting someone that needs special assistance, and cases of emergency. So unfortunately, the measures were put in this way, and many people really respected the measures. Other people did not, so they were trying to avoid gatherings. But there were still gatherings in the streets, so we began witnessing to more and more strict enforcement. For instance, in some cities, the mayors removed the benches from the streets. You were not even allowed to, at this point is banned. You cannot run outside, you can do physical activities, so they closed the parks. So we can't even go outside for just a run or for biking. The good news that I want to share, kind of good news, but at least we were there were more and more concerns, especially for kids with ADHD, OCD, people that were feeling this claustrophobic, were living this claustrophobic situation. So now, the assessor of welfare, at least in my city, I don't know, but this is something new. It happened yesterday. It made available a park. So you have to make an appointment. You have to schedule an appointment. But kids with ADHD or OCD, they can go in the parks a few hours a day and take a walk. So that's something that is being done. It's not enough yet, but still something. So I have some data. Would you like me to read?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so between March 11 and March 24th, people who have been stopped in the streets are 2,043,000 473,000. Over 1,000 are the people that have been denounced for having infringed the Article 650 of Penal Code, which is not respecting the authorities' decisions. And over 2,500 people have been denounced for having infringed Article 495, which is lying to public officers. Furthermore, more than 1,001,000 stores have been checked by the police, and 2,500 are the stores owners that have been denounced. So the source is the Ministry of Internal Affairs, so it's an official source that I'm using in this case. So we have this new certificate. The new one, the last update is as of March 26. And so people have to carry this certificate with themselves when they leave their home. The fines now have changed. So they start from 400 euros and arrive up to 3,000 euros. And you can get 1 to 5 years of jail if you are positive to COVID-19 and you leave your house intentionally.
Wow. So can people leave to get groceries? I imagine what is that process like if you do have to leave your home?
So if you have to leave, so we are really encouraged to leave your home, to leave our homes and to stay in the neighborhood. So, so far, nothing really happened. I live with my mom, so I do grocery shopping mostly once a week. I'm trying to go as least as possible. And I'm part of this organization where we have our local farmers and we are distributing foods in the houses. So I have people coming and delivering grocery shopping for me, coming from the local farmers. So yes, that's more or less the situation. Another thing that it kind of concerns me a little bit is that we start seeing now more and more the army in the streets. So as you know, I see this in the US as well. But yeah, there is this narrative that we are at war. And I think that fostering this narrative also creates the premises to creating a state of war in a way. So I think the language is very important in this moment. And so upon request of individual regions, the Ministry of Defense has deployed 7,000 military coming from the Safe Street operation, an operation that was created in Italy as in other countries in Europe. In 2008, here in Italy by Silvio Berlusconi. So probably if you've been here, sorry, okay. After 2008, you probably saw this military in the streets. So we have more and more military in the streets to control movements and gatherings of people. And also they hire, so the army got the fundings to hire 200 doctors and 100 nurses to put in their ranks. So it's kind of weird and kind of interesting to witness.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through some of the questions that I wrote. How has your family and friends been impacted by coronavirus, or the police state that you describe, or just in general?
Sure. So I don't really like to talk of South and North, but just to simplify, I will talk about North and South so the north of Italy is where we had the outbreak, and the south is still where we are expecting the peak to reach in the next days. So in the north, we have the highest concentration of factories, and that's where half of my family lives. Most of my cousins, they are factory workers, and they are not protected. So thankfully, everybody in my family is fine, but they are very concerned. So my cousin, she's still working, she's still going to the factory, and she's scared. And we had a new decree from Conte a few days ago where he announced the essential and the non-essential activities that had to be shut down. So we can talk about that also later. But basically, she works for a factory that makes clothes, and they are converting the factory. So they didn't shut down, but instead now they are making masks and scrubs mostly. So she's still working. So I don't know. My mom is the one still in touch with them. I try not to talk too much. I kind of like the media is already overwhelming, and I feel really overwhelmed by all this information. But yeah, every day is kind of scary over there.
Yeah, can you talk more about the police state? And I know you mentioned the military. Are they just kind of like lurking around, watching people? What does it feel like, to see them? What is that like?
Well, it's strange. Like, it's strange. As I told in that post on Facebook, I was literally chatting with my friend for like keeping a social distance and talking for like 5 minutes, and we saw 3-car patrol passing by and scrutinizing us. So it's very weird what we are seeing. And besides the police state, what is concerning me is also the fact that more and more people feel authorized to police their neighbors. So now the mayors, like in some cities, for instance, in Rome, they activated a system where you can denounce to the city gatherings of people, or you can denounce your neighbors.
So our neighbors, like telling on each other?
Yes. It's everybody feels like a policeman now. So even if you are a worker and you're leaving your home and you're walking in the street, there is in many cases, I'm reading on social media, even coming from friends of mine, which is kind of strange and weird, policing them. So yeah, there is like a tolerance at zero and understanding zero. It's really like people feel they have to police their safety, denouncing their neighbors, even if not, they don't know the reason why they're being outside, why they are outside.
Yeah, I saw another Facebook post you did that was like, don't be the cop, like, don't be a cop, basically. And I wonder if that is the media that's kind of like in people's heads, right? Like, I don't know.
It's
like,
yeah.
What would make somebody do that, I guess.
Yeah.
So do people have enough food and healthcare? Are there any kinds of like shortages? Do people have what they need or not really?
Yeah, yes, I can say, I mean, probably you saw images of our supermarket, of our food stores getting empty the first day. So after the first moments of panic, which it kind of make me smile, because I think it's a human, understandable reaction. I don't do that, but I don't feel like judging people panicking. I think it's the first time for everyone. But now it's everything under control, so it's fine. And again, I'm part of this organization, and we are doing food delivery at home, with vegetables coming from our local farmers. So we are working even more now. So this is good because we are like sustaining workers in the countryside, which is also a situation it's a problem connected to it's a topic that is very connected to immigrants as well right now. Like most of our workers in the countryside are immigrants, and I think they should be the first being protected, and from the very beginning. But really now you start seeing legislators waking up and saying, oh, we need them, we have to defend them. So it's, you kind of now start to see all the chain like unfolding under your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we've seen some of that here. Like, people, for example, who work in grocery stores or do the deliveries for grocery stores, or UPS workers, like people who have to stay out so we can stay in. Some of them are not getting hazard pay. Um, who knows if they're getting sick pay? And these are, workers who many people have said, oh, they don't deserve $15 minimum wage, right? Like right wing people. And now we see like that they're crucial for our existence, basically. Um, are people there hurting economically? Like, how are people dealing with things like rent and bills? Has the government provided any assistance?
Yeah, so there is so on home rents, there is no assistance in this case. So we are not supporting if you're renting. If you are paying loans, so if you are a homeowner and you are paying your mortgage, you get a suspension. So you have your payment are being suspended for a certain amount of time. Not a homeowner, so I don't know. I'm gonna figure out.
Do they have to pay it back?
So they have to. So the loan is suspended for. It's gonna be suspended for a maximum of 18 months.
Okay.
This is if you own a loan. So if you have a home mortgage loan. Mm-hmm. So if you own a house, but for rent, no. For stores who had to shut down, there is a 60% tax credit for the month of March. So they have to regularly pay for their rent, but they're going to have a tax credit of 60%. So what about bills instead? So in the 11 cities in the red zone, what it was the red zone, bills of light, water, and gas and TV have been suspended until April 30, and in the rest of the country there is going to be a reduction. That's what they say.
Okay. Have people organized anything like rent strikes? People, let's say people don't have savings or can't pay their rent. Yeah.
We are still wondering how to organize around that. So far, basically, it's only about one-on-one relationship with the homeowner, like asking for a favor. It's really not regulated in any way. So we are trying to figure out how to move on this next step.
Are people having conversations, like even just among, your friends or leftists about, for example, even the question of property, right? Like, like, should we even pay rent or mortgage? Doesn't everybody deserve a home? Are these like conversations that people are having there?
It's interesting because it's in Italy. I have. So what we are doing, we began right before all of this, and we were starting this project. So here in my city, we are sensing all the homes that have been taken to the mafia. So actually the space that we occupy right now, where we stay now, we can officially stay there, but it's coming, it's a property that was confiscated. So we are making a map and a census of what are the structure that could be available. And right now what we are trying to do is really to pressure elected officials to make these places available for homeless people and for immigrants that really have no place to stay. They live without like social distance. They don't have the proper condition to live. So we are really trying to, we are now slowing down the work, but we are working remotely to try to bring up this map and to point out the buildings that can convert it.
That's amazing, Tio. Like all the work you're doing. Do you want to talk about mutual aid? I know you about the group that you're with and like how people are organizing together.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about this and makes me feel positive. Every other day, I think I have ups and down, but every other day I try to feel positive about the way more and more mutual aid organizations are really growing in numbers. So more and more people are interested in the work we are doing, and I can see more and more people are seeing this like what we have done so far, and they ask for help and they ask for support and they offer their help and they offer their support. So it's pretty great. There were immediately activated lines for women living in forced to stay in their homes and living in conditions of domestic abuse. So there is a line where we can support women that in this moment can be protected otherwise. So we are activating faster all these kind of services for the people in order not to feel alone and isolated. With some friends, we made a radio station. We created a podcast.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, people can share their stories and we try to cheer up. So we have a lot of kids sending their podcasts, which are our favorite. They come up with stories and they write them. And we are trying to do really to putting out all our possible resources.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned domestic abuse, and I heard in the US, we're also seeing a rise in domestic abuse as people are forced to stay in their homes. I mean, I never hear my neighbors, and like, I'm pretty sure I heard a fight the other day. And I've also seen people on Facebook saying it's not quarantine, it's quarrantine, like people are fighting. That's really sad, but it's great that you're helping, you know, victims of domestic abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are mostly the thing that we are trying to do. Also, we have a WhatsApp chat now because before we used to meet every week. Now we can't. So we have a chat where and for refugees in our city to offer legal support. So because the law is changing also in terms of resident permits, so we try to update them in terms of what's the process of postponing the resident permits and all this, like to navigate through all the bureaucracy that is changing day by day.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat says, related to the interview, I love Italian accents.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then other people say, hope is awesome to hear, evidence of the human spirit to look out for each other. So people are really coming together as other things seem to be falling apart. I'm just looking at some of the chat. Somebody says planting the seeds for revolution. Yeah, I'm just looking up because there's people talking to themselves, but then also related to what we're talking about. Yeah, so is there anything, I don't know, that is important you think that we haven't talked about? Is your mom okay?
Yeah, she's fine. I think we talk. I think we talk of both people policing their neighbors and people helping their neighbors. So I really think that the latter can spread over the former, and we can build something new from scratch, like gather in a distance and create something new on new premises. So yeah, you share with me some videos of the Italian mayors that are becoming.
What do you think of that? Because people in the US thought it was really funny, and I thought, I wonder what Tio thinks.
Well, I mean, I think in a way they try to act in good faith. They really try to apply what is asked by the government. So they're really but they're like becoming sheriff, which is something we're not that used to. And I don't know how you see it, but yeah, it's kind of like fun in a way because you don't see them doing that. At the same time, I don't think we should give this for granted. I think we should really keep interrogating this, especially the media is really giving us only information of staying home, staying home, stay home, stay home. And if you go out, and they make you feel like a criminal. If you are outside, they make you feel guilty if you have to go for grocery shopping, or just even I walk my dog and I feel kind of guilty sometimes. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, in the beginning they will look at you because you have to walk within your block. I'm like, no, I kind of want to go around the block. It's insane. It's insane the way the situation is going, and I think the media is not doing well. The major media is not doing a good work in that. So
we have a question. We have a. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's. I think I lost my.
We have two questions. Okay. What is the Italian view of the U.S. reaction to the virus?
Say it again, sorry.
That's okay. What is the Italian view of the U.S. reaction to the virus? So that could be like Trump, or just like how, people in the U.S. are responding. Are
We
we?
are gonna come to the US before Easter because it's gonna be over by then. So, right? No, I mean we understand the severity of the situation over there with Trump.
Yeah. And you were here when Trump was the president, right?
Yeah.
So do they all pretty much know that he's an idiot? Another question. How is the political situation in Italy on the national level? Is the government stable? Is the Italian government stable?
So we have Conte now, is our prime minister. As of 3 or 4 days ago, he decided to involve the parliament. So the parliament now has more voice in this decision, which personally scares me because in the parliament we have people like Matteo Salvini, we have people from the Lega, from the extreme right. And they are just really, I feel, slowing. It's really becoming now a back and forth of question. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, it shouldn't go in the parliament, but I think it's things are slowing down, are becoming more complicated. And to be honest, I mean, I feel this is my personal view, is that we were slow, like the Italian government was slow in the way it took all the decision and all the decrees. But at the same time, I want to remember that when the World Health Organization declared the state of emergency on January 30, Italy was the first country in the European Union the following day to declare the state of emergency. So I kind of want to trust what he was trying to do. I don't think all his choices are wise. This is my personal view, especially in terms of factories, what they should shut down, what they shouldn't. But at the same time, it's really something unexpected, and he's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yes, so the person who asked that said, I ask not because they are so focused on the US, but because the Italian government seems to be very proactive and attempting to function. That brings hardships, as we have heard, but we aren't fucking doing anything well, the United States. Um, and then somebody says, Douglas says, please ask if some of those politicians are still trying to go after Germany, saying that the Germans are lying about their coronavirus numbers. I haven't heard that.
No, me neither. There was a controversy with Germany because I don't know if you probably heard this news, but we have a shortage of masks now. We have a shortage of masks and supply. Many doctors, they don't have enough scrubs to change. So it's pretty complicated. Anyways, we were receiving these masks, if I'm not wrong, from China, and they got stopped in Germany. So for a few days, Germany was demonized. It was like they were the evil. They were stopping our stuff, things that were directed to us. What is happening now is that Germany is actually welcoming patients from Italy. So they are flying over there because we don't have space anymore in the hospitals, especially in the north. So it's kind of controversial. The view on that. We felt abandoned by the EU, especially in the beginning. We felt the EU abandoned us. They didn't take us seriously the way we asked for emergency, when we didn't have enough hospitals, when the number of deaths were really rising, and we really had no support.
Yeah. How are you doing? Like, how are you holding up with all this? I know you said like some days are better than others. I know like people here have much anxiety. People are really scared, you know, a lot of people aren't working.
So I'm trying to do yoga. So I have a planner with me that I carry with me, like in the rooms of the house, and I try to have like really hour by hour to have a routine. Okay. I have to say this. I am a freelancer, and recently I'm working as a translator for the screen of movies. So to me, it's not as hard as for other people that were used to go outside. I was used to stay at home.
Yeah.
So my routine at least during the day hasn't changed that much, but my work has been affected. I'm working way less. So I try to have a routine, like just even drink 3 glasses of water when you wake up. I'm doing yoga. Some days I'm not social, so now there is this new trend like Skype calls with all the friends. So
that's great.
Yeah, I like that, but some days I really don't want to talk to other people, so I don't. I'm trying to be free in this way. My mom, she had a couple of panic attacks. So we don't have a backyard, we don't have a garden, we live in a flat. So, but thankfully we have a balcony. So I brought her outside, and then she calmed down.
Yeah, I talked to a friend of mine today who was having a panic attack. I had like a couple that were mild, and then I had one night that was really bad. But it's like, yeah, shortness of breath, my heart's beating really fast. I think it's affecting everybody, what's going on. And I'm working, and I feel lucky that I'm working, and like you, most of my work had been inside anyway, but still, even just seeing what's going on and how people are suffering all across the world, it's a lot.
Yeah. I feel also reading the news, like I was becoming obsessed in the first. So today is my 18 or 19 day of quarantine. I have it here, 19 day at home. So in the beginning, I was really obsessed with the news. I was watching, reading news all the time. Now I'm really imposing myself twice a day. Like in the morning and at night, like during dinner time, and that's it.
I have another friend in Brooklyn who is doing mutual aid. Well, he's in Queens, sorry, doing mutual aid, and he talked about the same thing, which is like we have to shut it off sometimes, you know, because we are inside, and it's so easy to just be on our screens all day. And but he also talked about the importance of, especially in mutual aid, like shutting it off so that you can help other people, or just, I don't know. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and I think so. I told you about this radio project. We have this radio, we have this podcast now, and like it's nice when I receive like people sending us audio files and saying thank you for this opportunity. It was really a good way to bring out my feelings, but I don't have to be in the screen, like, and to write my what how I feel and what I thought, or just reading a book out loud. And for me it's the same, like I'm so grateful for this. Just spending 3 hours a day editing this audio piece, it just brings me out, it brings
Yeah.
me so it's really like it really makes more, even now, even more sense now.
I think also this pandemic is forcing everybody to realize how connected we all really are, right? Like across nations, like um, it's forcing us to realize things like, you know, borders are are silly, you know, and we really all do rely on each other in every way, really. So I think that's really powerful. Tio, is there anything that you want to add before we sign off? I
Well,
have, yeah.
it's US, it's in my heart. It's been my second home for almost 10 years. So I'm really hoping to come back, and all my best friends are there, and that's when I began like my activism. So I really owe to the US a lot. So I want to just send all my support over there. Yeah.
We love you, Tio, and I love you, and it's so great to see you. I'm not in New York anymore. I'm in Texas, but when all this is over, you and I should go, and we'll all have a reunion.
Deal.
We'll go to Jing's house.
Deal.
Oh my God, there's so many comments here saying much love and solidarity to Tio. I hope things get better in Italy soon. Thank you, Tio. Thank you for your time, Tio. Stay strong. We had one more question. This might be the last question if you want to take it, Tio. Okay. Have other members of the EU who are not as affected by the virus been assisting other states or assisting other nations, I guess? Other yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. What is interesting is that even within Italy, I can answer for that. I don't know, but even from Italy, we had tampons, and this company, to make profits, they shipped the tampons to the US. So it's just like we have a shortage of supply, and they were shipping them, and they were finding more and more private companies shipping things abroad instead of supporting the emergency here.
Right.
So it's kind of but I can answer for other EU countries.
Yeah. They say, or another way to say it, has the EU been helping its members? But I think you said that Italy felt abandoned from the EU.
Yeah. So now they are talking about Eurobonds. So they are still trying to define the way to to support the situation, but again, we still don't know what's going to happen. It's still a situation of uncertainty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say that we haven't talked
Good luck.
about? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'll catch up with you soon, Teo. It was great to talk to you.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.